Chapter 53 What is a Superstar? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course, Simeone knew that if Malaga continued to attack like this in the second half, it was not certain whether his team would have 11 players on the field in the end. To continue to defend is to continue to let Luo torture his defense, so what to do? Simeone frowned when he returned to the dressing room, but when he opened the door of the locker room, his face was full of confidence. It seemed that everything was within his grasp. Any good head coach is like a psychological guru. The moment the locker room door closed, Simeone stared at his players and said, "I am very satisfied with your performance in the second half of the first half." This sentence really made all Atletico Madrid players with their heads down and panting look up. When they saw the confident look on their head coach's face, they were all taken aback. Atletico Madrid's new coach Simeone certainly knows that he doesn't have any prestige in the locker room now, so to make these players give everything in the second half, he must use other methods. Isn't it? We only allowed them to score one goal, and that goal was an accident. Luo took 100 more shots from that position, and I bet he couldn't make more than 5 shots of the same quality. This said, any world wave has an element of luck. Sit down and analyze this statement rationally. You can definitely find many logical loopholes, but now the Atletico Madrid players can't help but choose to believe in Simeone's judgment when they look at Simeone's confident appearance. So, our first half was actually very successful, and they pressed us for more than 20 minutes in the first half. Simeone stretched out 2 fingers, more than 20 minutes. But they didn't score. What does that mean? This means that their strategy has failed. Their strategy of rushing to attack has failed. This means that they have consumed too much physical energy. You all know how much such an onslaught consumes. Especially their core, Luo, who is still dissatisfied. He is still a child. How much physical energy does he have? Yes, Luo is still dissatisfied. How strong is a young man whose body is not yet fully mature? So the players of Atletico Madrid felt that what Simeone said made sense. Therefore, he sat up straight involuntarily, looked at Simeone with his eyes, and began to trust him a little more. Simeone is satisfied. He looked around, making sure his eyes stayed on each player. Then he said, "In the second half, we will raise the formation and attack. Use offense to suppress them." The strength of Atletico Madrid's lineup is here, and their 2 centers have considerable scoring ability, so, even against each other, Atletico Madrid have nothing to fear either. Header. Beautiful. Beautiful save by Arnaud. Oh. Diego Costa's header from close range was saved. The second half of the game has just started. Atletico Madrid reversed their attitude of being passively beaten in the first half, and took the initiative to press up and attack. Atletico de Madrid turned away. Malaga was almost suppressed in its own defensive zone and could not move. Atletico Madrid have such quality. They actually have a very good squad. This is how Atletico should play. The voices of the narrators were very excited. Diego Costa put his head in his hands. He is undoubtedly an excellent striker, and he is very smart. Ever since he found out that his little moves and trash talk had no effect on Luo, he decisively gave up these moves, and now on the offensive end, the double center combination of Diego Costa and Agüero has also shown a very strong offensive power. Of the 2, one has a strong impact and the other is flexible, quite complementary. 5 minutes into the second half, they have teamed up to contribute 4 shots. Hit the target again and again. Atletico Madrid's distance from the goal seems to be quite close. Pellegrini must find a way to reverse the situation. Their current situation is very passive. If they continue to be beaten like this by Atletico Madrid, it will be a matter of time before they lose the ball. At this time, the camera was aimed at Pellegrini, who was frowning on the sidelines. Pellegrini is already watching the bench. Under these circumstances, the head coach can only adjust the rhythm of the team through substitutions in an attempt to reverse the situation. The moment Pellegrini just turned his head, there was a sudden burst of exclamation from the Rose Garden Stadium. Pellegrini hastily turned his head to look. It turned out to be in the penalty area, and Atletico Madrid took a corner kick to find the central defender Godin. Godin jumped high in the penalty area, shaking his head and attacking the goal. Boom! The football bounced off the crossbar and was hugged by a shocked Arnaud, just when Arnaud was going to hold the ball in the penalty area for a while to disrupt the rhythm of Atletico Madrid. He heard a shout. Team leader. It's Chinese. This is what Yi Luo usually calls himself. Arnaud didn't even raise his head, he directly shook the unicorn's arm, and vigorously threw the ball in the direction of the sound. What drags the rhythm? Non-existent. Wouldn't it be nice to enter one of them? Give it to you. The experienced veteran Arnaud threw the ball, and the football crossed a beautiful parabola in the air. His eyes happened to see Yi Luo's running back, number 10 in Malaga. The key to the outcome of this game, the absolute core of Malaga's attack, the hottest fried chicken in La Liga. Go! Arnaud put all his strength on his arms, and his body suddenly fell forward to the ground, but his eyes were still fixed on Yi Luo. The veteran, who has played for Malaga for 9 years, seized the hope of Malaga's peak. The Atletico Madrid players had no time to regret. After seeing Yi Luo's speed fully up, they felt numb all over. At the first moment, everyone was chasing after him. And Yi Luo? While running wildly, he turned his head and glanced at the football, then gently lifted his foot to unload the ball forward. Land, force, start, accelerate. Flowing clouds and flowing water, smooth and silky, when he throws his arms and runs wildly, people seem to see a cheetah pounced on its prey. Yi Luo's full attention is now on the front, football. De Gea. Goal. Accelerate, accelerate, accelerate. The players that Atletico Madrid chased back were desperate. They're like three-wheelers trying to race a Ferrari. I could only hear the sound of the sports car engine rumbling farther and farther away. Single-handed. Single-handed. Yi Luo is single-handed. De Gea is now the only Atletico Madrid player facing yellow, and he strikes. Oh. Yi Luo didn't slow down. De Gea made a save. Yi Luo jumped the ball. Empty door. Push. The ball went in. 2-1. 2-1. Yi Luo scored twice. Number 12 league goals. What else can I say? What can I say? Genius. This is genius. What is a superstar? This is a superstar. When the team was extremely passive, he directly used a wonderful long-distance attack to completely reverse the situation. In the cheers of the narrators, the Rose Garden is like an erupting volcano. All the fans jumped up, jump. Cheer. The whole stadium is shaking. Under the shock, Yi Luo opened his arms and ran to the edge of the field. Turn around. The thumbs of both hands pointed to the name on the jersey behind him. The dash, fans shouted collectively. Yellow. End of this chapter. Chapter 56. Dong Chuang, Yi Luo's admirer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 1. Malaga's points have climbed to number 11, what the hell? Awesome. 6 consecutive victories. That's awesome, 24 points, only 4 points away from Valencia. Hey, Valencia lost 1 game, and the difference of 11 points is too big. Malaga can't keep winning. Why not? Now is the chicken blood period, and sooner or later there will be a time when the state will decline. I only care about Yi Luo's performance, 2 league games, 2 hat-tricks, 6 league games with 13 goals, top scorer list in the same period. Who else? It's like a dream. If you don't make your debut, you will reach the peak, right? Fucking hell, what are you talking about? Bah, crow's mouth, on the bib. After the game, the discussion about this game was extremely heated. Do you think Yi Luo will get the golden boot in the end? Someone asked. Impossible. If it is still possible in the Bundesliga, Premier League, and Serie A, it is basically impossible in La Liga. The two above are too stable. Yeah, it's impossible, but it's possible after those 2 monsters. Those 2 monsters can't be counted as human beings, so I declare Yi Luo to be the golden boot. As long as there are enough preconditions attached, Mauna Urbio can be the king of the ball, right? Even if you can't get it this season, what about next season? It is absolutely possible to maintain this scoring efficiency. I really didn't expect that I might actually see the day when a Dragon Country player won the Golden Boot of the 5 major leagues. What's the use? I heard that the Football Association is conducting review meetings in various places. The football associations are criticizing Yi Luo. Criticize him. What a bloody pen. Football Association. Football Association. The Football Association, you're such a badass. The next day, almost all the media made headlines for the game. Marca, Atletico Madrid defeated the Rose Garden, the genius of the Dragon Kingdom defeated the Sheet Army with 3 goals. World Sports Daily, 2 hat-tricks in a row, the genius boy is rising strongly. Iberia Daily, where hats in succession, Malaga won 6 consecutive victories. For a while, all Spain was talking about yellow. Simultaneously, after this league game, there are about 10 days before the next league game starts, therefore, Malaga gave the players a 3-day holiday, and Malaga's transfer department is not idle. Soon Malaga has made some gains in the transfer market. Atletico Madrid's talented midfielder Camacho was introduced for €250 million. At the same time, another talented goalkeeper Asenjo was introduced from Atletico Madrid. Asenjo is also unlucky. He is only 21 years old this year. He thought he could become the main goalkeeper of Atletico Madrid. Yes, as a result, the 19-year-old De Gea was born, and he took away his main position in one fell swoop. Atletico Madrid now has 2 talented goalkeepers, so Asenjo can only sit on the bench. The goalkeeper is a special position and usually does not rotate, so now he can only seek a loan, which Malaga missed, and the introduction of these 2 people is just an appetizer. Soon, the feast is coming. Malaga and Bayern Munich have reached an agreement. Argentine central defender Demichelis accepted Malaga's invitation and moved to Malaga. Became the first big-name player introduced by Malaga, and it's not over yet. 1 month 7 day, Malaga have announced yet another signing. Valencia's talented midfielder Isco joined the team in the winter transfer window in the form of a loan and a buyout clause. Just a few days, all of a sudden, it was 4 signings. This winter transfer window, Malaga is destined to stir up troubles in the transfer market, on the way to the headquarters of Radio Corp in Madrid. Yi Luo stared at his mobile phone with a look of horror on his face. Dear Yi, I chose to join Malaga because of you. From the day I saw the way you play, you are my idol. I really admire you and want to be with you so much. We played together and I couldn't wait to get to Isco's training ground in Malaga. What the hell? Do you want to say it so nasty? Although the Spaniards are enthusiastic and unrestrained, but it's really not common to be so enthusiastic and unrestrained, and also. When did Lao Tzu's mobile phone number leak out? Who leaked it? Akia. A certain head coach who was dealing with Malaga's transfer suddenly sneezed. Yi Luo's scalp was numb. Of course Isco knew, he was very capable, and later joined Real Madrid, but saw this message. Yi Luojiu felt chills all over her body, and began to worry about her safety in the locker room in the future. Yi, this time we are going to participate in Kobe TV's ACE program, La Liga Overview. Many big-name players often participate in this program, such as Messi, Ronaldo and so on. Driving was Vera Amberlawn, head of the media PR team that Mendes helped Yi Luo form. Don't get me wrong, it's not the kind of young man who just graduated, has a hot body, and looks charming. Where are there so many beauties in this world? Although Ms. Vera is not ugly, she obviously has nothing to do with being beautiful and charming, and as a worker under the Mendes agency responsible for the media public relations work of Yi Luo's level stars, she must have quite a lot of experience. This is also reflected in her age. Ms. Vera is 37 years old, now. While driving the car, he is explaining to Yi Luo the main points of participating in the program in detail. 4 stars. Participating in some TV shows is also a way to increase exposure, and Mendes Agency is also negotiating the first commercial endorsement contract for Yi Luo. This is also an important part of the star's economic income. The hosts of this show are usually 3 people. One is the famous commentator Mr. Andres, and the other is the famous reporter and media person Mr. Ibanez. The main form of the show is chatting. The two hosts ask questions, and you answer them. As long as you relax, the atmosphere of the show is very relaxed. Is there another host? Yi Luo keenly noticed that Ms. Vera skipped another host. Oh, you don't need to pay much attention to this one. The host's name is Blanca Severa. She usually doesn't ask tricky questions. She's responsible for enlivening the atmosphere. She wasn't even the host of a sports show before. Instead, he hosted another show that was very popular in Spain and had an explosive ratings. Ms. Vera said. Yi Luo showed a very interested look on his face. During this period of time, in order to improve his Spanish proficiency, he often watched local Spanish TV stations. What program? Vera glanced at Yi Luo, staring at the road ahead. He said, daily weather forecast for Spain. Recommend a new book to a friend. Urban martial arts fight for hegemony. I feel that the writing is okay. If you are interested, you can take a look. National art, my martial arts has a strengthening panel. End of this chapter. Chapter 57 Goals, Self-Discipline, and Lying Down. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Yi Luo came to the show, he could immediately understand why the weather forecast was always at the top of the ratings of Spanish TV programs. The reason is also very simple. It is because of this woman named Blanca Severa. The face is not so exquisite, it can only be regarded as beautiful, but the figure is too hot. Sure enough, the aesthetics of men all over the world are similar. Although there are often some strange things in beauty pageants out of political correctness, but you have to really understand what type of women men like. Just go to the playlist of an indescribable video site. The atmosphere at the show was indeed very relaxed. It's basically a chat show. The two male hosts asked questions about football, and Yi Luo frequently answered them, and there is a vase on the side for gags, which also makes the atmosphere more relaxed. This kind of program is not very deep, and Yi Luo suspects that it has nothing to do with the two male hosts, both of whom are a bit smart. He even guessed in his heart that the announcement fee for this program, this Miss Vase, must be more than the two male hosts. The program went smoothly to the end. The host Andres asked with great interest, Malaga has won 6 consecutive victories and successfully got rid of the shadow of relegation. So what is Malaga's goal in the second half of the season? Yi Luo replied almost without hesitation, our goal is to win every game. No, I'm asking about the league ranking, Yi. You can't use this kind of cliché to prevaricate me. Andres laughed. Is the league ranking? Yi Luo thought for a while and said, my personal goal is to compete for the top 4 in the league and qualify for the UEFA Champions League next season. Fight for the top 4. Are you sure? Of course. Yi Luo replied without hesitation. There is nothing wrong with this goal. Perhaps Pellegrini did not set any goal of competing for the top 4, but for Yellow himself, competing for the top 4 is not an unrealistic delusion. It's a bit difficult. Middle, another host, couldn't help but said. Yi Luo smiled and said, of course I know it's a bit difficult, but if the set goals can be easily achieved, then what's the point? The two hosts nodded upon hearing this. Although it sounds unrealistic to say that Malaga will compete for 4, but if you take a closer look at the standings, you feel that if Malaga wants to set a goal that the team can strive for, then winning the 4th is indeed a goal that the players of Malaga can strive for. Up. I think that Malaga may really be able to break into the top 4. They have won 6 consecutive victories. If they win a few more games, they may be able to catch up with Valencia. Yi, isn't your next opponent Valencia, right? This is your 4th opponent, right? Blanca blinked at Yi Luo, and rarely said a long paragraph. Can you defeat them? Blanca asked. Of course, we can beat all our opponents. Then I'll just wait and see. Blanca covered her mouth, but her eyes never left Yi Luo. If you win, I can promise you a request. Any request is fine. Ahem. Andres interrupted hastily. Blanca, I want to remind you that Yi Luo is not yet of age. So what? Is age a barrier? I don't think there's only one thing that can be, and that's India. What? Yi Luo cursed in his heart. Spaniards are so open. This kind of words were uttered loudly in the program. for the sake of the effect of the show, it is too unscrupulous. Yi Luo thought that the other party was teasing for the effect of the program, but after the show, Blanca stuffed a business card into Yi Luo's hand, leaned close to Yi Luo's ear and said, "Call me anytime, handsome boy." Yi Luo suddenly got goosebumps. On the way back, Yi Luo couldn't help asking Ms. Vera, "Is this Branca the kind who wants to use the star's fame to make a name for herself?" Thinking too much. Ms. Vera rolled her eyes, "He is much more famous than you now." Then this. Yi Luo showed the business card in his hand. "Oh, people may really want to play with the little fresh meat." Ms. Vera said, "Yi Luo has black hair, the emotional Lao Tzu is the one being played. By the way, if the other party makes such a move, you may be on the headlines of the entertainment page." Ms. Vera said with a smile on the corner of her mouth when she saw Yi Luo throw the business card on the trash can in the car. She has seen many young stars who became famous, but these vigorous young men are usually not able to withstand the temptation of beauty. She has never seen many people who are as self-disciplined as Yi Luo, but for Yi Luo, of course he has nothing to fear when riding a big ocean horse. But he is not a stallion, and he will not refuse anyone, not to mention, now Yi Luo is all about football, where is the mind to mess around, and this Branca is so open-minded. Yi Luo really has no interest in riding a horse with too many plugs, but who can believe Yi Luo's pure heart? Soon, entertainment media throughout Spain are reporting, it is conclusive that Blanca, a Spanish goddess, has caught another small fresh fish. This time, the recruit was Malaga's new star, Yi Luo, a young player from Longua. For a while, I don't know how many Spanish men almost gritted their teeth when they saw this newspaper. For example, Valencia's main center Soldado is quite delicious, because just 2 months ago, the media reported the gossip that Soldado showed love to Branca on social media. However, there was no response from Blanca. Even Branca showed reporters the explicit messages Soldado sent her on text messages during the interview. This was once a big gossip on the Spanish entertainment page, and now the goddess Soldado wanted. Now he openly shows his love to Yi Luo on the show. This is simply a naked slap in the face. That's fine. La Liga number 19 round, Valencia, who is now ranked 4th, will host Malaga at home. As far as Valencia is concerned, Yi Luo openly declared on the program that Malaga's goal is to compete for the 4th, so everyone is the opponent for the 4th, for Soldado. Although he hooked up with Blanca just out of desire, for a one-night affair, not for a long time. Well, just to have a date. If you have a good experience, you may be able to do it 2 or 3 times. It's okay if you don't get a date. Anyway, most men who play Tan and the like are crazily right-swiping and like to win by numbers, but a reporter with a good cause went to ask about this in front of Soldado. 4th. I don't think Malaga has the money. Yellow. He's great, but his team can't compare to mine. Of course, I will score in this game. But when Yi Luo saw the media reports, he couldn't help but smile wryly. This is also shot while lying down. I didn't play anything. How do you look at the entertainment media reports? I even have the details of how I was played. These are journalists. The ability to tell a story is strong, and now this matter seems to have stimulated the fighting spirit of the opponent. End of this chapter. Chapter 58 New Aid Integration, Field Captain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yi Luo became popular in Spain, the kind of fire that many Spanish men are hostile to. However, after these reports were reprinted by Longua media, the painting style changed suddenly when they arrived in Longua. Fans of Longua suddenly felt that Yi Luo's carrying a big yangma was simply bringing glory to the country. Come on, Yi Luo. Work hard. Don't be ashamed. Try to hold on for more than 3 minutes. Is 3 minutes a long time? Isn't it long? Fuck, you're exposed upstairs. Honestly speaking, if this figure can last for more than 1 minute, it is already quite awesome. Hehe, I don't take a rest for an hour. You are riding a pile driver. You guys, Yi Luo is not yet an adult, so you can do it casually. As long as you can score goals, don't say anything. Ma Dashin is talking nonsense again, saying that he plays with women at a young age. Fucking farts that the fans are very realistic and have double standards. As long as you can score, what is a transoceanic horse, eat sea cucumber? Can this be a thing? Rooney also has a belly, some people say that he is a chicken for nothing. If you are not capable, eat sea cucumber. Haha, eating fried rice with eggs is a crime. On the football field, food is the original sin. The holiday is over. Yi Luo entered the locker room. The big guy just smiled at him. Yi, are you cool? Someone asked out loud. Leaf Yeso. Yi Luo looked sideways at his teammates who were performing. Well, why are these people so coquettish? He shook his head and said loudly, I have nothing to do with that woman. It's just that no one listened to his explanation at all. A stunner like Blanca, who can refuse? Not to mention someone like Yi Luo who can penetrate a bed at the age of 17. Just when everyone was laughing, Captain Arnaud pushed the door open, and everyone looked at the door. It turned out that the captain arrived with the team's 4 new players. The first to enter was Demichelis. He is now considered to be the second most powerful and famous player in Malaga besides Yi Luo, and he also has a wealthy resume. However, the Argentine did not appear very arrogant because of this. Instead, he greeted his new teammates enthusiastically. Next are Asenjo and Camacho, both from Atletico Madrid, so it can be seen that the two are relatively close in this locker room, and Isco's eyes have been staring at Yi Luo since entering the locker room, making Yi Luo's scalp tingle. However, the first question Isco asked made Yi Luo feel black. Yi, did you really hook up with that Branca? As expected of you, I found that I could not restrain my admiration for you. The locker room burst into laughter. The locker room of a small team like Malaga is also very simple. There is usually very little news that the media wants to get here, and there is generally not much conflict of interest here, so in such an atmosphere, the 4 new players quickly integrated into the team. The 4 new aides came to play the main force, especially Demichelis and Isco. Both of them showed a level of strength on the training ground that was higher than other Malaga players, especially in the frontcourt. With Isco, Yi Luo's power has become even greater. He can cooperate with Isco to complete one-kick kicks continuously, and the two of them can think of going together. After a day or two of training, the two have developed a certain tacit understanding, and on the 3rd day of the team's resumption of training, number 5 signings arrived. It is the Brazilian international who once played for Real Madrid and Arsenal, and the striker Baptista, known as the Brazilian Beast, and Baptista showed his strength as soon as he joined the team. He can hold the ball in the frontcourt, can serve as a bridgehead in the frontcourt, and his strong body can also suppress the defenders, which can create more space for Yi Luo and Isco. Under these circumstances, Pellegrini chose to build a 4312 system. Isco was responsible for passing the threatening ball as the midfielder. Baptista opened up the space, and Yi Luo was liberated. He no longer needs to bear too much. The task of receiving, passing, and advancing from the backcourt, but can directly reach the opponent's backline in the frontcourt to catch the ball and look for opportunities to score. Each of this trio has its own characteristics, and theoretically the combined power is enormous. Of course, the final actual effect still needs to be tested in actual combat. In the midfield, Camacho, the midfielder from Atletico Madrid, was added, while the central defender added Demichelis, and the goalkeeper was replaced by a younger and more talented one. Asenjo, who is also more capable. In a winter transfer window, Malaga directly replaced a central axis, and the old captain Arnaud has changed from the starting goalkeeper to the substitute goalkeeper. He has no complaints. He has played for this team for more than 9 years, and he has already made plans to retire after the end of this season. Therefore, sitting on the bench and letting the young goalkeeper take the position is also decent as a veteran. But this brings up a problem. The captain sits on the bench, who should wear the captain's armband, normally. It is usually given to the most senior player on the team, but 3 days before the start of the number 20 league round, Pellegrini announced his decision. He decides to put the captain's armband on Yi Luo's arm. Even Yi Luo was taken aback when he heard the head coach's decision. Then the old team captain Arnaud first stood up to support the coach's decision. Other players also voiced their support. They were able to get rid of the decline in the first half of the league. And Yi Luo contributed a lot. He is the absolute core of the team. When the captain does not play, it is also reasonable to wear the captain's armband on the arm of the core of the team. So at the press conference the day before the game, Pellegrini took Yi Luo to participate. In the pre-match press conference, the questions from the reporters were no longer about Yi Luo's private life and gossip. It revolves around football. Yi, you declared on the show that your goal is to compete for the top 4. Do you really think Malaga is capable of qualifying for the Champions League? Why not, Yi Luo replied. But you are 11 points behind Valencia. 11 points may seem like a lot, but it's actually just a gap of 4 games. If Valencia loses 4 games, won't we catch up? There are still, games left in the second half of the league, that the reporters couldn't help shaking their heads when they heard this. Can this score be calculated like this? Valencia lost, wouldn't Malaga lose? For Valencia, Soldado thinks that Malaga is not Valencia's fourth opponent. What do you think? At least they are our opponents in the next game. Yi Luo said with a curled lip. Pellegrini was pleased with Yellow's first pre-match press conference, neither humble nor overbearing. Even if something goes wrong, the performance is very stable and mature. This gave him a lot of confidence in making Yi Luo the team captain. End of this chapter. Chapter 59. The confidence of the Bat Corps, Malaga's new system. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The winter transfer window is not lively. There are not many clubs with such a big purchase as Malaga, and soon enough, game day followed. In the number 20 round of La Liga, Malaga's away game against Valencia will be staged at the Mestalla Stadium. The game received more attention because of Yi Luo's Malaga 4 remarks. If Malaga wants to compete for the fourth, they must win this game because Valencia is their biggest opponent for the fourth. Of course, most of the media do not think that Malaga has the strength to compete for the fourth. Even though they have won 6 consecutive victories, many media still believe that this is just a stage where Malaga is in an overwhelmed game state. After their state is down, their ability to score points will tend to be based on the average of their book strength online and offline, and this game is considered by many media people to be the biggest test for Malaga. If they defeat the Mestalla Stadium, then Malaga's so-called fight for 4 is really just a joke. However, this game is actually quite stressful for Valencia, at least for their coach Emery. If Valencia loses, it is likely to fall out of the top 4 and be overtaken by Sevilla. Therefore, for Valencia, which is playing at home, this is also a game that cannot be lost if it loses. The impact on the team's state and morale is simply incalculable. So when the players on both sides warmed up and returned to the locker room, Emery gave a rare impassioned speech. This is our home field, we don't need to be afraid of Malaga. The strength of our lineup is enough to support us to beat them at home. We're going to keep the football under control, we're going to keep them in a defensive stance all game long, we're going to launch wave after wave of attacks and crush their defense. Emery said loudly, play at home, control the game, play attacking football. Emery's confidence comes from Valencia's lineup. The Bat Legion is a powerful force in La Liga, and their lineup also has many international players from various countries. Although last summer, Villa, the soul of the team, went to Barcelona, and David Silva, the core midfielder, was recruited by Manchester City, but Valencia still has a lineup that should not be underestimated. For example, on the defensive line, they have capable goalkeepers Moya and Guaita, French central defender Matthew, central defender Xavi Navarro, who has been selected for the Spanish national team, and Spanish international left-back Alvin Barr. In the midfield, there is Spanish international Joaquin and Juan Mata, a talented player who debuted in Real Madrid's youth training. There are also well-known players such as Soldado and Adres on the forward line. It can be said that La Liga is quite competitive. For Emery, the only thing he worries about is the impact of the new players introduced by Malaga, but their joining time is so short. I am afraid that their integration with Malaga as a whole will be a problem. Yes. This is our home field, we are going to beat them at home. Soldado, the main striker of the Bat Corps, said loudly. This statement came out immediately. The players in the locker room of the home team couldn't help laughing. Hey, Roberto, I'm afraid you're not just because you want to win the game. Blanca may be watching the game, but he may not be watching you. Made his debut in Real Madrid's youth training, Soldado, who was once called Raúl's successor, blushed suddenly. As long as she is watching, she will see what a real man is in this game. She just wants to have fun with a little boy like Yi Luo, and she gets tired of it. She will understand. My goodness, what dog-licking remarks. The players in the locker room looked at Soldado with pity. Don't say anything else. Just for this, everyone has to desperately help their dog-licking teammates win this game. We need to do a good job of defense. Our formation adjustment these days is for this purpose. The three midfielders need to protect the defense. Martin, after completing the steal, you have to take on more forward passing tasks. Give the ball to our front trident. Pellegrini looked at Martin Demichelis, although Demichelis was later sprayed as a cullender by many Manchester City fans, but this has a lot to do with his way of playing. Demichelis is a central defender who likes to rush forward. He can actually play as a defensive midfielder and has a certain passing ability, and his ability was of course a bit criticized in Manchester City later, but in Malaga, he is really the thigh of the defense line, and at the same time, he is also the core of the defense who is able to complete the forward delivery after completing the steal. In the absence of a real organizational midfielder in Malaga, Demichelis, who has a certain organizational ability, is obviously the best candidate for the first starting point of Malaga's counterattack tactics. Pellegrini's tactic for Malaga is to play a quick counterattack on the basis of a solid defense. This is a choice based on the reality of Malaga. Everyone wants to play attacking football, with the ball at their feet, pressing down on the opponent, but does Malaga have that capability? So for Malaga, the reality is to make full and reasonable use of existing resources. There is no shame in counter-kicking. It's embarrassing to lose 3 defensive midfielders plus 4 defenders, including Isco and Baptista, must participate in the team's overall defense. Isco was originally a midfielder. As a midfielder, although his one-on-one defensive ability is not very good, he still has a basic sense of overall defense, and Baptista is known as the Brazilian beast. He is actually a versatile frontcourt. Can also play a midfield position. Moreover, his physical fitness is very good, his running is also very active, and he can also cooperate with the defense to participate in the defense. The only one who has the privilege of not defending is Luo, because his position in the frontcourt is not fixed. He needs to decide his receiving position according to the situation on the field. He is the sharp knife of the team. Demichelis is mainly responsible for sending the ball from the backcourt. Baptista is responsible for serving as a bridgehead, Isco is serving as a midfielder to complete the final pass, and finally Luo finds a way to complete the finish after receiving the ball. Such a simple and direct defensive counterattack system focuses on a fast. When Pellegrini finished speaking, everyone looked at Luo. As the captain of the game, Luo must of course fulfill the duties of the captain. Pre-match mobilization, Luo stood up, looked around the audience, and said, "You all know the discussion in the media in the past few days about whether we can compete for the 4th place, but in my opinion, this is not worth discussing at all. Haven't we set any rules? If it is a goal, can it lie flat on the field?" Luo spread his hands and said. "Besides, why can't we set the goal to be in the top 4? Isn't that so ambitious?" "No, we are not very ambitious. We set the goal based on the current situation of the team. You know, we in the first 13 rounds of the league, we only got 5 points, but now. Doubt, questioning, ridicule, these voices are endless. They don't believe that we can advance to the top 4, and they don't believe that a team like Malaga can challenge the order of those powerful players at the top of the standings. Then let them not believe it. Let the points at the end of the season speak for themselves. Our goal in this game is only one, to win this damn victory. Come on guys. Fuck them to death. Fuck them." The players immediately shouted. Luo opened the door of the locker room, held his head high and led his teammates out of the locker room. Pellegrini looked at his assistant with some complacency. Seeing this, Malaska also gave a thumbs up with a smile. Obviously, the performance of the captain on the field must be quite qualified considering that he is the captain for the first time. Then this performance can be regarded as excellent. End of this chapter. Chapter 60 The Power of the Trident. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When players from both sides appear in the player channel, the camera's lens immediately locked onto the captain Luo, who was standing in front of Malaga. In fact, the media got the news that Luo would become Malaga's captain when they got the starting rosters of both sides an hour before the game, but when the young Luo really stood at the front of the queue with Malaga's captain's armband, people still feel a little unreal. There are few captains on the field who have not appeared in the entire history of La Liga. Luo wears the captain's armband of Malaga. He looks quite calm. I hope this captain's armband will not put more pressure on him. Zhang Jun, the commentator of Xinglang Sports, said, in the chat room at this time, fans are also swiping their screens one after another. Awesome. You can be the captain of a La Liga team if you don't get it. It's so dick. I'm still concerned about the big ocean horses. Are you concerned? I'm too embarrassed to expose you. Amidst the discussions among the fans, the Valencia players also looked at Yi Luo frequently. The two sides played against each other in the last round, but Valencia swept Malaga, away. However, in the second half of the first half of the schedule, Malaga won a wave of winning streak, and now their winning streak is still continuing, so Valencia dare not underestimate Malaga. And Yi Luo is the number 3 scorer in La Liga. Although he looks really young, but as the core of Malaga, the Valencia players also know that the most threatening players in Malaga are their young players. The field captain Yi Luo. This point, even Mr. Soldado, the dog licker who is holding back his energy to overwhelm Yi Luo on the field, will not deny it. Spanish media reported that Yellow announced that Malaga would compete for the top 4 in La Liga when he participated in a local TV program. This is indeed a goal that is not easy to achieve, but if they can beat Valencia in this game, then the gap with the top 4 can be shortened, at least the gap in points will be only single digits. When players from both sides enter the field, Zhang Jun began to be busy introducing some pre-match dynamics and the starters of both sides. Valencia formed a 433 formation, the goalkeeper Moya, the central defender combination is Xavi Navarro partner Matthew, the right back Bruno, the left back Alba, the midfielder is Albelda and Banega the partner is double defensive midfielder, Joaquin is the front midfielder, Mata is arranged on the right side of the striker, Adriz is on the left, and number 9 Soldado is the center forward. As for Malaga, the 5 new players they joined in the winter transfer window all started. Goalkeeper Asenjo, central defender Demichelis partnered with Ivan Gonzalez, left back Rosario, right back Gomez. Malaga sent 3 midfielders in the midfield, Camacho, Fernando, Juanito. The front trident is Yi Luo, Baptista, Isco. Judging from the formation chart announced by the broadcaster before the game, it seems to be a 433 formation, but how to arrange it will not be known until the game. My personal prediction is probably not 433, because these 3 midfielders are all more defensive. Player, so Isco is unlikely to be assigned to the winger. Malaga needs to be more creative in the midfield, so Isco may still play the midfielder. In this case, Malaga's formation most likely 442, or 4312. Following Zhang Jun's intensive commentary, players from both sides stepped onto the court, boom. The enthusiasm of the Mestalla Stadium hit instantly. Just in front of the players' tunnel, Valencia fans held up a row of banners to welcome their opponents. Fight for the 4th. Do you think you have completed relegation? Valencia fans unceremoniously mocked Malaga's relegation team. From their perspective, a team like Malaga also deserves 4. Who do you think you are? Although Valencia's away performance this season is not very good, but their home results are still quite strong. At the Mestalla Stadium, in the first half of the schedule, even Barcelona only narrowly won, here, and Real Madrid only scored, in this stadium, and in the first half of the game at home, Valencia only lost to Barcelona. Want to beat the bat core in this stadium, in the eyes of Valencia fans, Malaga. Not enough. The fans on both sides of the players' tunnel were crazily provoking Yi Luo. Hey, guy from Dragon Kingdom, Branca is here. Oh, can you, a little chick, handle a big car like Blanca? Plaka sucked you dry. Hear these words, Yi Luo didn't think so, on the contrary, Soldado's face darkened, he'd been licking Blanca for so long just to get a chance to be sucked dry. What you are after, it is readily available, your goddess is someone else's licking dog, simply, green clouds cover the top. Soldado clenched his fists and held his breath, his fighting spirit was unprecedented. When the game restarts, Valencia, who played at home, controlled most of the ball. They pushed the front line to the front court and formed a siege against Malaga. During this process, Soldado was quite active, he actively moves, frequently active in the penalty area and the front of the penalty area, receiving and passing the ball. In the 6th minute of the game, Valencia got a good chance. Mata cut into the corner of the penalty area after receiving the ball from the wing and lobbed the ball towards goal with his left foot. The football bypassed Malaga's forward defense and found Soldado's head, and Soldado jumped high and smashed the ball towards the goal. However, the ball was too straight, and the angle was not thrown away, and it was easily confiscated by goalkeeper Asenjo. After landing, Soldado hugged his head regretfully and roared angrily. The TV broadcast also switched to replaying the attack just now. Soldado's header is dangerous. Zhang Jun exclaimed. Because of well-known reasons, Soldado has extra motivation in this game, so Malaga should be extra careful. Just now, there was a sudden exclamation on the scene. The screen quickly switched back to the live broadcast. I only saw that in the frontcourt, Baptista stopped the ball with his chest and opened his hands to suppress the central defender Navarro behind him. After protecting the ball, he passed it back to Isco. Isco received the ball while running. He dribbled the ball and dunked towards the middle. It seemed that he was about to dribble the ball forward. However, in the process of shrinking Valencia's defense to the center, Isco suddenly made a small swing of his right calf, picked up the ball, and the football went over the defense and fell to the left. Yellow. Amidst the exclamations of the commentator and the fans, Yi Luo, who had been pressing on the center line, jumped in at a high speed. Bruno, the right defender who was chasing back, raised his foot, and the football landed obediently as if it was stuck to his foot. He landed on the ground, and then Yi Luo stepped forward and cut the middle. Single knife. The narrators exclaimed. Malaga's simple counter-attack routine created a scene that horrified all Valencia fans to the extreme. On the TV screen, Yi Luo stopped the ball, walked the ball, and rushed to the penalty area. Announcement of the launch. Received the editor's notice. It will be on the shelves at frowny-face noon on Friday. If friends who pass by think that the author's writing is not bad, please subscribe here boldly, and the follow-up will be more exciting. End of this chapter.